What up, guys? Another vid I'm doing here. This is kind of, I don't want to say it's a rant, but you can take it as that. No, I don't have my rant hat on right now, and I don't feel like switching it and putting it on either. But, just take it for what it is. This really isn't a rant, but I guess it kind of is. But what I just kind of talk about is that Smackdown. Smackdown just sucks. And Smackdown, for the most part, Smackdown is another penny for your thoughts. Is Smackdown the new WCW Thunder? Smackdown is the second show for WWE. Comes on every Friday night. It's a tape show, which means they tape it on Tuesday, but air it nationally on television every Friday. To me, Smackdown has just been really, really crap. Last Smackdown was okay, but to me, Smackdown is just, God. I see why when people watch any type of wrestling at all, or if they just watch any WWE product alone, it's just Raw. Because Smackdown is like the adopted child that no one wants. I mean, Smackdown is just completely kicked to the curb. It is the B show. And a lot of people will say, well, the reason why Smackdown is crap is because, they did the whole brand extension thing. I wouldn't necessarily agree with that. Even after the brand extension, SmackDown was still a pretty solid show, and even better than Raw at times, back in the 2003 to 5 era-ish. SmackDown was a solid show. You had Brock Lesnar, Undertaker, Kurt Angle, Eddie Guerrero, JBL, Rey Mysterio. Randy Orton was there for a while. He was there for a minute, but after he lost the world title to Triple H, they put him on SmackDown. We had John Cena with the whole Thuganomics gimmick. So the roster was just as deep in SmackDown than it was on Raw. Like I said, SmackDown was a solid show even after the brand extension. But you look at SmackDown now, the last 6-7 years, and SmackDown has just been completely crap. And a lot of people say SmackDown, the value of SmackDown has gone down since Edge has left. I agree, but then I kind of disagree. I mean, Edge hands down was the biggest star on the SmackDown brand. He was, like you say, the only draw or reason to probably watch SmackDown. But even with Edge by himself, to me, SmackDown was just still a crappy show. It's like it doesn't matter who they put on that roster. They've got Randy Orton now, who's, I guess you could say, he's the top draw for SmackDown. They've got Randy Orton. They've got, you've got Sheamus, Daniel Bryan, Wade Barrett. And I like all these guys. They've got Christian, who's coming back this Friday night. He's making a return, so hopefully with his presence, they'll boost up the roster a bit. So you've got him. You've got Sin Cara and Mark Henry and Big Show. Looks like Kane's going to be put back on SmackDown. So you have these Wade Barrett and Cody Rhodes. So you have this sort of, I don't want to say solid roster, but you have a decent roster on SmackDown. It's not a powerhouse roster. I'm not even saying Raw is a powerhouse roster, but Raw's roster is better than SmackDown's. But with SmackDown, it's like you have good talent here and potential future stars for the show. But I also think it's also the booking as well. The booking for SmackDown is booked much differently for Raw. Like with Raw, I think they said they have a team of writers for Raw. For SmackDown, you have a team of writers as well, but you don't have there's really one main writer for SmackDown who writes the shows for SmackDown on a regular basis. And I don't know, it's maybe that's the best writers, the better writers on Raw. And I'm not saying that Raw is, all of that in a bag of chips, but Raw's been crappy too other times. There have been times where SmackDown would be better than Raw. But if you can count it on the fingers on the top of your hands throughout an entire year, which show was better throughout the entire year, Raw would beat SmackDown each and every time. The only time SmackDown has been good as of late, like in recent memory, is when they've been doing the live special Tuesday shows. That's the only time SmackDown has been really enjoyable from top to bottom, and that's only because, not only because they're live, I guess, the nostalgia that SmackDown's live, but also they bring in the Raw superstars to SmackDown, like they bring in the SmackDown superstars to Raw every Monday night. And, you know, with that, it helps boost up the quality, and we get better matches on SmackDown when it's a super show for SmackDown and when it's live. And I don't know, it's just like, unless it's one of those special live shows, live super shows on SmackDown, SmackDown is just crap. The writing, I think, for SmackDown is very mediocre at best. Nothing that the writers do on SmackDown is like, you know, shock value or off-catching, you know, like they would on Raw. You know, what CM Punk did on Raw, you know, was talking about, you know, when CM Punk did the whole pipe bomb thing over the summer last year on Raw, people were like, everybody was talking about that. If Punk did that on SmackDown, no one would have watched. And I understand a lot of people say, well, SmackDown does come on Friday nights, and, you know, because it's Friday nights, people go out and party and all this other stuff, so no one has time to watch it. But it's like, still, even if SmackDown was put on Tuesdays on a regular basis and Punk was to cut that promo, I still don't think people would be able to watch it. I mean, I still don't think people would have even been aware if that was to ever happen, if Punk had cut that promo on SmackDown. So it's just like all the good stuff happens on Raw. And I know Raw is the flagship show. Raw was first. Before there was a SmackDown, there was a Raw. But SmackDown used to be good, too, when it first came out in 1999. And even after they did the brand extension, SmackDown was still a good show. SmackDown was kind of mediocre from 2005 to, I guess you could say, 7-ish. 2005, 2007. SmackDown was mediocre. It was still decent because you had Batista, Anderson, or Mr. Kennedy, still Undertaker and Edge, and you know, so SmackDown was still a decent show from that 2005-07 era. In 2009, it was okay. You had Triple H. Triple H came back. CM Punk and Jeff Hardy and Edge. But I don't know, it's like SmackDown is like I said, to me, SmackDown, watching SmackDown now, you know, as all the years has been out, as of recently, the last few years, SmackDown just reminds me of another WCW Thunder, where it's the show no one watches, it's the show that the company itself does not invest in. It's, like I said, it's the blue-headed child that no one wants. So, I don't know. What do you guys think about this topic? The SmackDown suck to you? I still watch SmackDown because I watch Wrestling Period. So even if SmackDown does suck, I'll still watch it because I like to catch up on just anything from WWE at least, from Raw and SmackDown. So I still watch it even though it's crap at times, a lot of times. But what do you guys think about SmackDown? Do you guys enjoy SmackDown and where it is now? And like I said, do you guys see SmackDown as being the new Thunder, the new WCW Thunder? I do. At least I feel that way when I watch it. Comment, subscribe. Peace.